today on Dr. Phil.
You think he steals money?
I believe so.
You're gonna sit here and lie all day or what?
2 Amish Mafia stars
Do you think he's rigging buggy races?
Yeah, I know he's rigging them.
face off.
Don't make it sound like I'm so bad.
I'm not Levi, but
You
what I'm...
just got done saying it.
A Dr. Phil exclusive.
The way it works in the Amish, the men have all the power. There are untold numbers of sex crimes with the women and children.
You say that children are harshly disciplined.
One little boy got drugged behind a buggy. He still has scars of it.
It's time to speak out. It's time that people are allowed to know about this.
Behind the buggies and bonnets.
I can't trust him. He's one of those Amish guys that
You don't
controls
come in
their
my
women. Let me talk.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. They live in a world so secretive, so secluded, that one of our guests today flew on an airplane for the first time in her life just to get here. And it's a first for the Dr. Phil Show, too, because in our 13 seasons, we have never had any Amish visitors on this set. But today, that's about to change. Now, when you think of Amish people, it may bring to mind bonnets, buggies, beards, baking, and butter. But lately, the Amish world has been making headlines with shows like Amish Mafia that reportedly blow the cover off their once sequestered world. Now, we're about to meet some Amish people who are not as friendly as the images you may remember. Images like these. Take a look.
The typical Amish person is supposed to reflect the love of God, sacrifice, humbleness, submissiveness. The Amish men will wear a hat, will have your typical bowl haircut. You'll see the snaps here. We're not allowed to have the buttons on this. The way I grew up, we did have running water. We did have a toilet. We had the gas lamps, but we had no electricity, and I had no TV.
Ever since I was 6 years old, I had to go feed calves before I go to school. And that's what the Amish are taught. They gotta grow up working, get married, raise a family.
You start driving a buggy probably when you're 9, 10 years old. When you have to go to the doctor, you have to drive at least 10 to 15 miles. You can expect anywhere from 45 minutes to a 2-hour buggy ride. Amish are not allowed to be doctors. You can't go to high school or college. The Amish community, we have our lifestyle the way that it is. We don't reveal everything to the public because we really want, people from the outside to know everything about it. You guys do firsthand in South Bus. The experience, I love it here. The people are great and we take care of each other. We have each other's back here.
While the Amish attempt to live a simple life with no technology, as I said earlier, even they can't escape making headline news.
Amish communities across eastern Ohio are on alert. The man labeled as the Amish Bernie Madoff will be spending the next 6.5 years behind bars. Monroe Beachy swindled nearly 2,700 investors out of nearly $17 million.
Did you do anything wrong?
Sorry, I'm not allowed to talk.
Developments in the kidnapping of 2 Amish girls in upstate New York. The sisters were sexually assaulted.
Alan Byler stars on the Discovery show Amish Mafia. In all, he's charged with more than 30 violations, including a felony, drug possession, eluding police, and driving without a license.
It's a story that's gaining national attention. The man police believe may be behind attacks on other Amish.
It's all religion.
Renegade Bishop Sam Mullet denies it, but victims tell Channel 3 he is behind at least a half-dozen home invasions in the last 2 weeks. Male victims had their beards cut off. Women had their hair cut.
Victims tell Channel 3 News the group is going crazy. Their minds are messed up bad.
In Middlefield, a member of the Miller family was attacked by his own children. This is a problem for sheriff's investigators because the Amish are not reaching out for help.
One of my guests, Levi, claims he's lifting the lid on the Amish community in his new book, Amish Confidential. Now, you may recognize this hat-wearing so-called mobster from the hit show Amish Mafia. Now, Levi's archenemy Merlin says he is giving the Amish people a bad name and that Levi is nothing but a money-hungry Amish playboy. Now, today, in an exclusive interview, the two are facing off for the first time. Take a look.
Så ledig. Thorsen for shopping with Levi.
You're sticking your nose in my business.
You mean if you're down, we should protect it. That's that guiltful, huh?
Even though the Amish Mafia is a reality TV show, my issues with Levi are real. He wants to come across as he's saving the Amish, when in reality, he's saving himself so he can make a buck.
Merlin's a hypocrite. He wants to do everything I do. When I got my attorney, he wants my attorney. He found out I'm writing a book, so he wanted to write a book. He talked to my co-writer. He's just jealous, and that's why he's so and he has no time to take care of himself.
Levi is a poser. Like, he's the most important person in the Amish community. He is the expert of the Amish by writing this book. Levi is very self-serving.
Merlin's just a little piece of garbage. The book is not about the money. I wrote the book to tell the secrets of inside of the Amish life. Everybody has questions, and they always get the wrong answers from the non-Amish tour business.
Levi is going against our Amish beliefs by writing a tell-all book, giving all our secrets out there.
It would help if everybody listens to what I'm saying. I hope Dr. Phil can help Merlin and straighten his ass out. It's hurting other people because his mind is just crazy.
I'm going to call Levi out on his Levi wrote this book because he's driven by money, and Levi is going against the Amish way by being greedy and money hungry.
Okay, so you two aren't fans of one another.
It appears that way.
It would appear so. You think that this book that he's written, Amish Confidential, which I have read, by the way, you think this is a bad idea?
Well, there's a lot of things in there that could really affect the Amish community.
In what way?
In a way where telling a community secrets and bringing out things that we have kept for traditions for many years and just putting it out there in a book.
I don't see no difference. Me writing a book or you going on the show and exposing the Amish, there's no difference, so you have nothing to say. Don't worry about the
On
book.
what show?
On the Amish Mafia show. He talks how the Amish live and how they act, so what's the difference?
Have you been on that show?
Yes, I'm on the Amish Mafia show.
Yeah, he worked his way in the show like about the third season after we filmed because he got jealous like the book. He's just
I was
jealous
on the
do.
first season.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was. I'm just glad that I had the opportunity to show what Amish life is really like.
What did I just tell you?
What?
He said he's glad to tell the people what the Amish people really like. Well, why can't I put it in the book?
What I'm saying, is your book really about the Amish, or is it about you?
Did you read it?
Yes, I did,
Then
but I
what
didn't
does
get a
it say?
copy from you. I had to get a copy from Dr.
Why
Phil's
would I give you a
people.
copy?
You said you wrote this book because one of the things you don't like is that people make money off of the Amish community, that there's a multi-million-dollar tourism industry of people coming to see the Amish community, but the Amish don't make money off of it. The non-Amish make money off of it. Do the Amish make money off this book, or do you make money off this book?
I make money off the book. I wrote it, but I don't make that much money off of it.
But the Amish don't make money off this book. You do.
I can give back to the community,
But
yes.
do you?
I give to the Amish aid. I pay to the Amish aid. I pay where Amish needs help, and I spend that money on that.
I don't buy it.
No, you didn't buy it. Somebody gave you the book.
Dr. Phil's people bought it for me so I can read it.
You've talked about Amish aid. What is Amish aid?
Amish aid is where we take care of our own monies, like insurance, help. Say if you're sick or you have doctor bill, hospital bills, fires.
You think he steals money from Amish aid?
I really believe so.
You're going to sit here and lie all day or what?
I think that Levi has his hands in a lot of pockets where they don't need to be. I don't have proof that he's stealing, but I think that there's a lot of things that he's trying to do that are taking money from the Amish ultimately in the end.
Do y'all have buggy races?
Yes, it is.
Do you think he's rigging those?
Yes. I know he's rigging them.
How do you rig a bug? Well, okay, take a look at this.
From my experience with Levi, he is not someone that I trust. We had a buggy race. I'm guessing we're going about 15 miles an hour. I had a very good horse, and it looked pretty good for me. Ended up, Levi rigged the race so he could win. He knows that that money's supposed to go to charity. And I think that Levi kept the money for himself. Levi is greedy and money hungry.
I'm just smarter. I'm not money hungry.
How did he rig the race?
He brought in a buggy on an automobile frame. How am I going to compete with that horse and buggy with a buggy that's been set up on a car chassis? I can't compete with that, right? That's rigged.
We didn't even race with the car chassis, so what are you talking about?
Well, you won, right?
It was a car show and a buggy show. It was a Pimp My Buggy. It wasn't a race. So I won the buggy show, yeah, of course. I got a buggy with a motor on it. That's pimping it, ain't it?
Boy, I'm all confused. Coming up, we'll meet an Amish woman who took her very first plane ride so she could reveal what she says is one of the most alarming secrets of her community. We'll be right back.
The way it works in the Amish, the men have all the power.
You stay at home, you listen to the husband, you shut up. You're the chief cook and bottle washer.
I do all the cooking in here with the stove, and it's heated with wood. It's my life.
Levi loves the attention. He loves to be idolized. Levi does do promotional appearances for money, and I have never done that. He's taken this Amish hat and putting an autograph on it. That's selling our religion. He's creating false idols about the Amish, and there's people that I have heard come up to Levi and basically almost worship him. I think at the end of the day, Levi's #1 goal is to become the first Amish movie star.
You might recognize my guest from the hit show Amish Mafia. Now, Merlin accuses Levi of living an inauthentic Amish lifestyle, but Levi says if that's the truth, then Merlin is just as guilty. Take a look.
I'm from the Ohio Amish. Lebanon Levi is from the Lancaster Amish.
We're in my hometown. Mostly Amish and Mennonites farm around here, and I grew up in this area. I was born and raised Amish. I'm not baptized in the Amish church. I'm baptized in New Order Amish. If you're baptized, then you can't drive a car. Anything modern you have, you'll get shunned. Just because I'm not baptized in Amish church, so that means I can drive. I can have electricity, I can watch TV, I can do whatever I want. Even though Merlin says I don't follow the Amish ways, Merlin's not baptized either, so Merlin can do whatever he wants as well. I believe that actions speak louder than words. I think I'm not more Amish, but just more traditional Amish. On a typical day, I have to go out early in the morning and feed the animals. I like to go up the ladder here, inspect my crop. We have chosen different paths in life, and Levi has chosen the path of easy money, easy things. I want Merlin to leave me alone and just let me live my life. Mind your own business.
How can you drive cars and be Amish? Because I understand there's a distinction about whether you've been baptized or not.
There's, I would say probably 30, 40 years ago, there was barely no cars in the Amish community. As years progress, more younger kids get cars, but you're not doing it against the church because you're not baptized. So when you turn 16, 17, 18, whatever, until you get married or get baptized, some drive cars. Maybe 25 or 30% of the Amish youth drive cars anymore.
Because you're not baptized, it's okay to drive a car. It's not against the church.
Yeah.
You would not be shunned for that.
Right.
There are parts in this book that are not flattering to the Amish. He says it is often a society of humiliation and fear.
There is fear, there is humiliation in the Amish community, but we are taught that so we don't get a vain heart and that we stay to our roots.
Well, Merlin isn't the only person suspicious of Levi's motives. Merlin's friend Dayna got on a plane yesterday for the very first time so she could join the show and deliver a message to Levi. Let's hear from her.
I believe Levi is doing a lot of hurt in the Amish community by exploiting the problem and not trying to fix them. In Levi's book, he did bring out that the Amish women are sheltered But why does he still keep his women amongst the Amish? He says it in the book that he doesn't agree with it, but he's still controlling them. They can't do anything about it because they're women.
The role of an Amish woman can be very controlling. They don't really have a say-so. If they do, they get looked down upon. I do all the cooking in here with the stove, and it's heated with wood. It's my life.
You stay at home, you listen to the husband, you shut up, you're the chief cook and bottle washer.
The way it works in the Amish, the men have all the power. There are untold numbers of sex crimes with the women and children. When that sexual crimes happen, the bishop finds out and then they just confess in church. They might be shunned for 2 weeks and then they are forgiven, and that's how they get away with it. There's one guy, he was having sex with animals. He confessed over and over, and it just kept happening. Levi talked about helping the Amish, but I don't really see him doing much. I think he sits on his ass.
Well, Dayna, thank you for being here. How do you feel about being here?
I'm honored to be here.
And you live where?
Ohio, Holmes County, Ohio.
Okay, and you live on a farm?
Not at the moment.
Yeah.
I grew up on a farm.
You grew up on a farm?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been shunned by your religion?
Yes.
And what did you do to be shunned?
I disagreed in shunning my brother. He got shunned by just telling the bishop that he does not agree with how they use the shunning. So he got shunned, and then he came to visit, and I didn't shun him because I agreed with him.
Okay, so he was shunned because he disagreed with the bishop.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came to see you, you didn't shun him.
We ate with them.
Oh,
him and his wife, we ate with them.
You allowed them to break bread with you.
Right. And we got caught.
And that's not okay.
No.
And you're not allowed to worship with the...
Right.
You can't enter the church and worship with the church.
Right.
And how do you feel about that?
I don't feel like it keeps me out of heaven. I know the truth. It just hurts me that I can't see the family.
Because they can't interact with you, or they would be shunned.
Right.
When you're shunned, like she was saying,
right.
you can't eat at the same table. When the person that's a member with the Amish church can't eat at the same table that the person that's shunned. And you can get in trouble with that. You can also get shunned if you do. Or you can't drive with that person that's shunned. You can't, like that person that's shunned, you got to set it down. And then the person that's a member got to pick it up. You can't take it off their hand. And that's basically what she was, that's how harsh the shunning is.
Coming up, who on this stage has been arrested before? You might be surprised. It's not me, but we'll right back. Levi says he could be the greatest Amish man walking on earth. But is Levi the biggest threat to the Amish community? He says no way. The Amish are a threat to themselves if their criminal conduct continues.
All the Amish want to keep the Amish hidden. They don't want outsiders coming to know what's going on. But the Amish have been arrested just like anybody else. For drugs, alcohol, child molesting. Very few went to jail for molesting because the Amish believe in taking you to counseling and then forgiveness. That's why it's so easy to molest your daughters or anybody else's girl. I've been arrested. I have 2 DUIs.
I have been arrested for marijuana. I have 2 fourth-degree felonies for trafficking in marijuana.
Merlin is not a clean guy. Merlin's really bad as a gossip. You gossip so much because you have problems yourself and you're trying to uncover your own problems to make yourself look good. Merlin is just saying that I shouldn't the wrong side of the Amish, and I'm not. I'm showing the right side of the Amish. Merlin is the one who's the bad guy.
Okay, so you're a couple of thugs. Okay, so you don't trust him, right?
Not really. I can't trust him. I feel like he's one of those Amish guys that controls their women. Let me talk.
You don't come in my area and do that. Stay in your area. You have no rights to come in Lancaster County.
See?
This is very troubling to me. You say that depression among Amish women is rampant. Why is that?
I believe it's because they have no voice. They can't tell anybody what's going on. And then again, they're supposed to have all the babies they can have, and being pregnant or nursing all the time is depressing too.
You say in the Amish community, women are regarded as birthing animals.
That's rude.
In the Schwarzentrooper community, yes.
Well, then stay out of Lancaster County and talk about Schwarzentrooper.
I didn't say this is your area. I was talking about
He's asked about the Amish. He didn't ask about
But he asked me about my people.
You also say that molestation of children is rampant in the Amish communities, not just yours, and you're not the only one that has reported that. I don't think you deny that either, correct? What do you say about that? What happens? This is a crime. What happens?
Yeah, the girls get told to shut up about it, even if the mother finds out. She most likely asks them, well, was it your fault? What did you do that this happened to you? Right. And then they get told to just hush about it, and the guy maybe gets shunned for a couple weeks, and then he's supposed to have repented, so they take him back in the church and forgive him and move on. And that has to stop. I believe the law needs to step in and arrest those guys and give the girls counseling.
Do you all agree that this is going on? Because you say men are raping babies and the church is forgiving them.
No, I never heard
No,
of that.
that's what you say.
Little girls.
Levi.
Not necessarily
What's little girls or
infants.
babies? There's two different.
3 years old.
I know an Amish bishop.
That's a baby.
Yeah, I know an Amish bishop right now who's in prison.
I'm not standing by their side. Don't holler at me.
And I'm not
just saying I
saying
never
it's
heard
Pennsylvania,
that young. So okay.
but it's-
fine.
How young have you heard?
Like 10 and 5, anywhere from 5 to 10.
They're babies.
It goes on. I don't know. The law is stepping in. They go counseling. The Amish believe shunning them and take them to counseling. In our area we do. Of course, their area. In our area we do counseling.
That
they have to
has
send
to
them to counseling.
stop. They need to be.
And the last time this happened, it was in my neighborhood, and the law stepped in. The judge said, you know, this is coming out too much. That we're going to start stepping in. And I said, I think it's. I wasn't there, but I was telling people, you know, that's what they should do. You do it. You might as well go to jail. I don't care what religion you're in, so I don't believe in it. And nobody should, of course not. But
I know
like the Amish, they just kind of push you under the rug. They'll send you to counseling for. He went to Kentucky for like 2 months, and he comes back, and I think it made his head even worse. And he was a preacher, the guy that did it to his own daughters.
You say that children are harshly disciplined.
There's one little boy. They tied him up,
drug him behind a buggy.
You say that children are harshly disciplined. In what way?
Physically.
Uh-huh.
If they don't listen to the parents or if they lie to them, they get a harsh beating.
There's one little boy.
He got drugged behind a buggy.
They tied him up,
drug him behind a buggy for.
He didn't drop the firewood.
He still has scars of it.
What do you Amish men have to say about this going on in your community?
I don't know. To be honest, since they're talking about short-term troopers, I don't know. But I know Lancaster County, they're not that harsh on their kids. I know I had another strap on my butt because I cheated in school, but I deserved it. But you don't deserve to get beat up, but I never heard anything that harsh in Lancaster County that I know of. I mean, I know some are very strict because they want you to listen and they want you to respect. And
come on, you wanted a platform, you wanted a voice, so you got a platform and a voice. Step up and use it.
I'm just saying, what I'm saying is, the Amish are, we got to talk about the good too, but yes, they are harsh, they are, but I got spanked. But some don't, not everybody is like that.
I'm not saying everybody's like that. If anybody's like that and you wanted a voice and you wanted a platform, then you need to man up and use it.
Well, you're right. I agree with that. But if I don't know about it, I don't know what to do about it. But like I said, in my community, it's not that bad.
You didn't come ask. You don't go around finding things out like that and helping people, do you? Have you ever thought of how you can help people like that?
I have talked to a lot of people where I didn't help them. You don't know what I do. You two think you know everything I do. You don't. I'm just a money-hungry guy, ain't I?
Yeah?
Yeah. That's what you think. I don't have to show off what I do. God sees what I do. And I'm not agreeing with this beat up. I definitely don't agree with it. I hate it. But my family never went through that because we loved each other. Even we got spanked. But I'm not, but don't make it sound like every family does that.
I got spanked too, and I don't think my parents misused it, but I'm just saying we need to help those that do
I'm not
get
saying
bruised.
I'm not. I'm not saying not to. You're right.
You know, I support Dayna, and I encourage her with this, with my whole heart. But for example, what you're witnessing right here is how it can happen a lot in the Amish community. When an Amish woman wants to speak, the man is there right away. Shut your mouth. You're wrong. You're trying to make everybody look like this.
Yeah, I feel like you don't let anybody tell you anything.
You're telling me, you just got done telling him how I'm exposing the Amish the wrong way, and I shouldn't say this and that, but then you're just totally running in the dirt right now. You're right, you can tell what's happening, that's right. But don't make it sound like every person's that way, because it's not. There's some loving Amish out there.
Exactly, there are.
Well then, don't make it sound like I'm so bad, everything's so bad.
I'm not, Levi, but what I'm trying
You just got done saying it!
What I'm trying to point out is the way that you're responding to Dayna, that element of disrespect is what a lot of the Amish women go through, and by controlling and yelling at them.
And then you said about the men.
What did I say about the men?
What did you say?
Now you can't repeat it?
You said the men don't let him speak, and the men are so horrible, this and that. They're not all that way.
Not all, no, but I'm...
Well, then say that.
The way you come across, you might be.
See what you want?
Merlin says there's only one reason he agreed to do the show today. We'll hear why when we come back. Plus, he and Dayna have some questions of their own for Levi. We'll be right back.
Growing up, my mom was a real advocate for me not to watch television. I got to see Dr. Phil as a kid when I went to the doctor with my mother. But what touched my heart and sowed a seed into me about Dr. Phil to this day was that he talked about God and that he has a relationship with him.
You need to put your trust and faith back in a higher power, whatever you call. I mean, I call it God.
It doesn't matter to me if I'm Amish or not, and he's not Amish. He's my brother in Christ. With Dr. Phil, there's a legitimacy there and a realness that some daytime talk shows might not have.
Well, today in an exclusive interview, Levi, Merlin, and Dayna from the hit show Amish Mafia are facing off. Now, Merlin and Dayna accuse Levi of spilling secrets and exploiting the Amish in his new book titled Amish Confidential. Now, Levi says he just wants to shed light on all issues in the Amish community, good or bad. And if anyone's going to profit from telling Amish stories, it should be the Amish. And you're Amish, so you would be profiting from it.
I can make a profit off of it, of course. I spend time doing it.
Right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. You are objecting. You got really animated, started yelling that she's making it sound like everybody does these horrible things. All the Amish do these horrible things. I didn't hear her say everybody does that. I heard her say that it happens in the community and is not dealt with. It's not punished. It's not handled in a way that would suppress the behavior. That's what I heard her say. But you seem really defensive about it. I'm wondering why.
I'm not defensive. And the way you said it, it's not the way I understood her. She said the Amish. She didn't just say necessarily the Amish, some Amish. She said the Amish. And I took it as she's talking about all the Amish. But I'm just saying, let's not just talk about all the bad. We can. That's why I wrote the book. But there's a lot good, too. I mean, you got to let the people know and the audience know how good we are, too, not just all the bad stuff.
Well, it's interesting because Merlin says you're the one that's inviting judgment of the Amish community by disclosing what he calls ancient secrets in your book, correct? That's what you say.
They just told ancient secrets. They just told stuff that goes on.
Well,
and the Amish wouldn't want us to, but I want to. It's time to speak out. It's time to people that are allowed to know about this because I think some of the Amish need to sit back and say, like, wow, we really are doing wrong. And I think that's why I wrote the book. It is time. That's why you saying I'm not helping. I'm trying to help the Amish, and I'm trying to help people to step in and read this book and understand what goes on so the people come and so the Amish sit back a little bit. I'm tired of saying you don't do this, you don't do that. What more do you want me to do?
Well, one thing, I heard you have an English girlfriend and a baby.
A baby's a gift from God. You can't throw a baby away.
Explain
that to me. And
me.
slept with a producer and got her stoned and got her fired at the same time. What's the difference?
Are you supposed to be with an English girl?
What?
Yeah, I can be with an English girl. I'm not baptized in the Amish church. I can be with an English girl, of course.
But you're Amish.
I live 2 different lives.
Oh.
You do too. You don't dress like this every day.
Well, now, wait a minute.
You don't dress like this every day.
When you said slept with... Hold on. When you said slept with a producer, you're not talking about one of mine.
Oh, you better watch it.
Right? Let's be clear. You didn't sleep with one of my producers.
I'm looking forward to clear that myth up, too, but...
Yeah, okay, but you didn't sleep with one of my producers. Let's clear that one up
I
right
didn't
quick.
sleep with any producer.
Okay,
yeah, you did.
Including mine. Okay.
That's not the first lie you said up here.
Do you have an English wife or girlfriend?
I have an English girlfriend. Merlin did, too. What's the difference?
Well, I'm not asking about Merlin. I'm asking about you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, I do, and I have a baby that's 11 months old, and I love her, and I'm glad I have her, even though I'm not married. It's a little hard for my parents, but...
Well, congratulations on your baby. But so you have a baby out of wedlock. How does that go with the new? Is it the New Order Amish Church?
Yeah, they don't believe in that either.
So you kind of pick and choose.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. What about your hat?
I can take my hat off.
Does it make you money?
Why do you wear a hat? You don't wear a hat every time.
You wanted to talk about why Levi talks about hating wearing his Amish hat and couldn't wait to get rid of it during Rumspringa?
Yeah.
What's that
the one
question?
question I had, I found it interesting in the book where it talks about from 2 to 16 years old, you had to wear the Amish hat, and that how much you despised, how much you hated that hat, and you were so excited when Rumspringa came that you wouldn't have to wear it anymore. So I was just curious why you're wearing that hat now.
For people that hang on. For people that haven't read the book, Rumspringa, you talk about from like 16 to 22. This is a time when Amish parents kind of look the other way.
No, it's not like that. No, I explained in the book different.
Yes, you do.
That's what the world. No, they don't look the other way.
I
no,
think
they don't.
you said that.
I explained it there. When you turn 16, the outside people think they hear that you can go live in an evil life or live however you want. You're supposed to get to a group. There's a bunch of different youth groups, and there's from 16 until they get married. And you're supposed to find a wife, get married, and raise a family. You're not allowed to go out, party, drive a car. That's against your choice and against your parents' will, but it happens. But that's not what Room Spring is all about. You can just go and do it. It's not. You're supposed to get a group, and then every weekend they hang out, and Sundays they have like a dinner together, then evenings they sing the Christian hymns, and then they go home. You're supposed to find a girlfriend, play games, and, you know, play a lot of volleyball is a lot in the Amish community. But it's not about going out there and sow your wild oats and then come back. It's not about that. You can do it, but it's against your parents' will. It's your choice.
What about your hat?
That doesn't matter. That must be Schwarzentrooper. If they wanted to worry about their hat, it's Lancaster County. I can take my hat off. Ain't that what they were talking about? Is there a lifestyle in Schwarzentrooper? It's Lancaster here.
What was your question about the hat?
Why does he wear it now?
Because that's how Lancaster does.
No.
Does it make you money?
It has nothing to do with money. Why do you wear a hat? You don't wear a hat every time.
You might be surprised.
No, you don't. I saw you without a hat many a times. So, no, you don't wear a hat. There you go again. You're not going to get ahead because you do the same damn thing. Excuse my language.
Oh, there's a lot to excuse with you. Should there be more policing of the Amish, or should they just be left alone? We're going to talk about that when we come back. Well, I'm back with Levi, Merlin, and Dayna. What's your goal in writing this book? What do you hope happens if this book is widely read?
I want the people to understand exactly what goes on in the Amish. For when you go to the tours in Lancaster County, they tell you a lot of stuff, and they even tell you the Amish don't pay taxes. They do. They don't pay Social Security because they don't believe in collecting from the world. That's why there's Amish aid. They have their own insurance. They don't believe in collecting from outside insurance. And
so you want to do some myth busting?
Pretty much. But I want to tell the people, I want to make them understand more what goes on and help them, but maybe encourage a little bit, and then maybe when they read the book, kind of feel a little bit of the Amish lifestyle and understand more. We're all humans, we're all the same, but it's just because they have all these rules in the church where they're so closely committed that you can't expose nothing because they don't want the media in. They don't want it to be on the news. They don't want nothing around because they don't want people outside to come in and find out what goes on.
Right. Do you think this book's a bad deal?
I think that the book has truth in it. I think the book...
It's 100% true in the book.
Let me finish. I think the book talks about things that are very disrespectful to our Amish elders.
If they don't want to do it, then don't do it.
Listen, in the book it talks about our Amish elders and where we come from and some of the things that are very sacred to us. Our forefathers were martyred for their beliefs over in where we come from in France and Germany. And just to go write a book, it's like, blah, you know, that's how us Amish are, and I hope you feel better about us.
I just feel you're a little jealous because you do the same thing on the TV show. You expose everything you can on the TV shows. You have no right to talk. Not at all.
All right, let me ask you, at this point, you hope that there's some modification of the way women and children are treated in the Amish community.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, maybe what we've talked about today will bring a light onto that and will be an agent for change in bringing that about. We've got to stop. We're out of time. Special thanks to my guest today. I do want to acknowledge it was very courageous for Dayna to come forward today and share her knowledge from a female perspective. Levi's book, Amish Confidential, is available now, and everyone in the audience is going to go home with a copy. So if you want to enter to win your own copy, go to drphil.com for more details. We'll see you next time. Merlin, thank you so much. Levi, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.
Memories can kill ya, but I didn't hear ya. I thought that I could fly, but woke up on the asphalt. I swear there was the last time. I've always been naive. Call it